It all started with a simple idea, a belief that technology could connect people in a more meaningful way. Young James didn't just want to build a company, he wanted to start a movement. His purpose was clear: create a community, not just a product. He gathered a small team who shared his passion. They worked late into the night, driven by a shared dream. Their product resonated instantly, solving a problem people didn't know they had. The company grew at lightning speed, celebrated by the media and investors alike. James became a symbol of young, brilliant success, sharing his vision on stages worldwide. But as the company expanded, the focus shifted from community to numbers. Conversations turned from mission to market share. The soul of the company was traded for the illusion of scale. From the outside, it looked like a giant, but inside, cracks began to show. The rapid growth was unsustainable, the culture diluted. The team became a collection of departments, not a family. James, once a visionary, now felt like a manager lost in the machine. He was so busy running the company, he forgot why he built it. The original dream faded into the noise of quarterly reports. He was at the top, but he had lost his way. The energy that once fueled them was gone, replaced by pressure and confusion. The company's foundation, once strong, was now fragile. James's risks grew bolder, but his purpose grew dimmer. The mission was lost in the chase for growth. The world saw a titan, but James saw the cracks. He stood alone, wondering where it all went wrong. The dream that began with connection was now buried under numbers, and so the fall began. The crash wasn't sudden. It was a slow, painful unraveling. Missed targets, a failed product launch, and the market's patience wore thin. The media turned critical, competitors surged ahead. The momentum vanished, replaced by mounting pressure. Investors who once praised James now questioned his every move. Meetings grew tense, demands for cuts and quick returns intensified. James tried to pivot to inspire, but the belief was gone. The trust had eroded. He was captain of a sinking ship. Filing for bankruptcy was the quietest day of his life. The office fell silent. The dream was over. Letting go of his team was the hardest moment. He saw the disappointment in their eyes. The weight of failure was crushing. Losing the company meant losing his identity, his purpose, and the trust of those who mattered. James stood in the empty office, surrounded by the ruins of his ambition. The world he built had crumbled. He was left with nothing but regret and questions. The king had lost his kingdom, the silence was deafening, the dream was dead, but in the ashes, something new was waiting to be found. The fall was complete. James was alone, stripped of everything. The journey was far from over. It was time to face himself. In the aftermath, James retreated from the world. He avoided friends, haunted by memories of his lost success. The silence in his apartment was overwhelming. He replayed every mistake, realizing he'd lost sight of his why. Growth had replaced purpose, profit had replaced people. Shame and regret consumed him, but in isolation a shift began. He read about resilience, took long walks, and reflected deeply. Stripped of status, he began to rediscover himself. He was no longer a CEO, just James. The end of his old life became the start of a new journey. In emptiness, he found the space to rebuild. The search for meaning had begun. The turning point came from a simple act, a visit to a local coffee shop. Maria, the owner, greeted him without pity, just warmth. That small gesture reminded James he was more than his failure. It sparked a memory of his original purpose, building community. He realized connection didn't require a tech empire. Inspired, he dove into the world of coffee, learning, tasting, connecting with local roasters and baristas. The craft reignited his passion. He decided to start a small coffee roasting business focused on ethical sourcing and real relationships. With his last savings, he bought a used roaster and set up in his garage. The work was hands-on, humble, and deeply fulfilling. Each day he experimented, learned, and grew. He was no longer chasing scale. He was building with integrity. The first spark of hope returned. James was starting over, this time for the right reasons. The journey had a new beginning. The early days were tough. James did everything himself. He roasted, packed, delivered, and sold his coffee, facing daily rejection. But he believed in his new why and shared his story with every customer. Slowly, small businesses gave him a chance. Each order was a victory, each relationship built on trust. He reinvested every dollar, refining his craft and product. This time he focused on culture, even as a company of one. He never compromised on quality or values. The business grew slowly, organically, and with purpose. A loyal customer base formed, and word of mouth spread. James was no longer a tech celebrity. He was the coffee guy, passionate and authentic. The climb was slow, but steady. He was building something real, one bag at a time. The foundation was strong. Growth was earned, not rushed. The lessons of failure shaped every decision. James was moving upward, with purpose restored. The journey continued. After a year, demand outgrew James's garage. He moved into a small industrial space, bought a bigger roaster, and hired his first employee, Sarah. She shared his passion and belief in the mission. Together, they built the new space and a culture of collaboration and excellence. Every morning began with coffee and shared goals. The company grew, supplying more cafes and restaurants. James personally visited clients, sharing his story and commitment to quality. He helped partners succeed, building loyalty and trust. Each new hire was chosen for their values, not just their skills. The why was at the center of every decision. The company grew brick by brick with a strong, purpose-driven foundation. Every detail mattered. The culture was intentional and resilient. James was building more than a business. He was building a legacy. The future looked bright, grounded in purpose. Growth took a new turn with an email from a European distributor. A tourist had tasted James's coffee and shared it abroad. The distributor wanted to import his beans. James hesitated, wary of repeating past mistakes. He discussed it with his team, determined not to compromise quality or culture. He flew to Europe, meeting the distributor face to face. They shared his values and passion for ethical coffee. James agreed to a small trial shipment. Growth would be careful and deliberate. The first international order was a milestone built on trust and shared purpose. His coffee became a bridge between farmers, his team, and new communities. Expansion was no longer about domination, but about connection. The journey crossed borders but stayed true to its roots. James felt pride, not for scale but for meaning. The world was opening up one cup at a time. The European launch was a hit. Soon orders came from around the world. Each new partner was chosen for shared values, not just market potential. The company grew global but never lost its small-town heart. James invested in farmer relationships, ensuring everyone benefited. Success was shared, not hoarded. James returned to the stage, not as a tech prodigy, but as a humble craftsman and storyteller. He spoke about purpose, resilience, and connection. His story of failure became a lesson, not a shame. The message: start with why, and let purpose guide you. The company thrived, recognized for quality and ethics. The headquarters felt like a community, not a corporation. James was hands-on, never far from the roasting floor. He had climbed the right mountain, with purpose as his guide. The summit was meaningful, not just high. Looking back, James sees bankruptcy as the turning point, not the end. Failure stripped away ego and forced him to rediscover purpose. True strength is found in getting back up, not in never falling. Success isn't measured by size or wealth, but by purpose and impact. His first company was big but hollow. His second, smaller but deeply meaningful. The lesson: failure is a teacher, not a verdict. Every ending is a chance for a new beginning. If you find yourself in ruins, don't despair. This is your chance to rebuild with wisdom and heart. Start with your why. Build brick by brick with passion and integrity. Failure is part of the journey, not its opposite. The crucible of loss can forge a more authentic victory. James's story is one of hope, resilience, and the power of purpose. The true summit is living a life true to yourself.